friends. So, in my newsletter recently, I was talking about this cool little device called the Arm Aid, and you may have seen the previous version. I want to compare the two real quick. They just came out with their new version, and I have to say I like this one a heck of a lot better. Okay? The old one, much bigger, right? You compare the two, there's really no comparison here. I mean, it's the same, this is bigger, this is much smaller, obviously. This is less cumbersome, easier to port around. This is a little more awkward. I really like that this has got a base on it that fits on your leg really easily or on a sturdy table. This you actually had like strapped down to your leg, which I also like. But I'm a representative for them because I reached out to them and saw that they were using this for rock climbers. And I realized, well, why are we not using this for musicians? And they said, wow, that's a great idea. We hadn't thought about that. So if you get my newsletter, you'll know that I recently put out a blurb about it, just showing the different ways that it can be used, and also some ideas on why you should need it. And then go check it out. Because if you do use it, if you go to their website and enter code MUSICSTRONG, you get 20% off and free shipping. Who doesn't want that, right? And I told the story about the Nashville Symphony of the Old section, and they bought it, like every single one of them bought one, and they even bought one for backstage for them to use. So why am I telling you this? Well, this is the only thing that I know of that effectively targets your forearms to be able to massage them without having to utilize the other hand. And one of my readers came back and said, how do you use it if you have carpal tunnel on the other hand? I cannot grip things because of this issue. And I believe this is a flute player. Actually, I'm pretty positive it's a flutist. And I said, well, you know, I've got to make some new videos about how to use the new one, so why don't I share that? So here's something really cool. When you buy the Arm Aid, or when you use it, it should come with its own nifty little rubber band. And you see how it fits right over the top of that? It's not a super tight rubber band, but once you get this set up to the desired length, and for me, I'm going to put it on 3. I'm going to show you how I would do this if I had carpal tunnel or I wasn't able to grip. Maybe you have arthritis and you're not able to grip things, right? This is Levi. I say hi, Levi. He's very needy and very upset. He's not able to go outside at night. So here's what I would do. I would set it to where you need it. And no, you don't actually have to grip this. But if doing this motion is too much, and you don't have to hold it really hard, you just have to hold it together. That's why this beautiful thing is here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this and put it around the top. Let your arms slide in between. And then all you have to do, see, it's holding the work for you. You're just holding it steady at this point. Okay? So you're going to roll right in between, and you're looking for tender points. So when you have carpal tunnel syndrome, if it's I'm going to say if it's undiagnosed, if a doctor has not told you specifically you have carpal tunnel syndrome, but you have what you believe are carpal tunnel syndrome, if you have symptoms of carpal tunnel syndrome, a lot of times those symptoms can mimic the syndrome, even if it's not true. And what happens is the carpal tunnel down here gets compressed. And why? Well, you have all these forearm muscles, and we know what we do when we play, right? And those muscles get really tight. And if you fall into an overuse injury category, and say these get tight, they turn into tendons here. Those tendons can become inflamed. The inflammation causes swelling in the carpal tunnel here, which causes the compression, which causes the tinglies, and all that other stuff that isn't fun, right? So what you can do is relax these muscles here, and then stretch them, and use the Arm Aid to help that out, and then stretch them, and then the carpal tunnel symptoms will abate, or should. Now, if you have actually been diagnosed by a doctor with this, I would have them, I would check with them, because your symptoms might be different, your situation might be different, but it's not going to hurt to try this. So what you're going to do, you can actually use this to, you have different attachments you can use. I'm using the 3 plastic balls, but it comes with, it's not a little carrying case, which I like too. It comes with these other attachments that I think, depending on your situation, may work better. We've got, I haven't even taken out the bag yet. We've also got a bigger one, so looks like this, and you can interchange these, right? So these are all equal size. This is also plastic, but it kind of mimics the bigger one on the older model, so which is great for if you have really tight forearms or you're digging into your bicep or the thumb. You know, this is going to be great for your thumb right here. I'm not going to change that out just yet, but I put this beautiful little rubber band around the top. You're going to reach your arm through. What I want you to do is you're just holding it steady. I am not gripping anything whatsoever. I'm just going to roll my arm through here, looking for tender spots. And generally those tender spots are going to be up in this extra meaty part of your forearm, right below your elbow. Okay? Like, oh, right there. I'm pressing up. So I'm going to take one of these balls and press it into the middle of that spot. And I'm not actually gripping here. I'm just holding, and I might pull it towards me just a little bit to increase that. But you can also change this to a smaller setting if you like, which would make it tighter. But if you're really inflamed, I really wouldn't go this tight. It really might not feel as good. So just like this, back and forth, looking for that tender spot right there. So we're just going to hold this. And notice I'm not gripping, I'm just touching it, just keeping it steady. When you find that spot, and this is on the top of my forearm, this is my extensors here. So what I want you to do is put your fingers together and go just like that. So you're stretching that tender point, okay? And I would do the entire length of your forearm looking for tender spots. I would go a couple passes first. Ooh, yeah. Because you want to know where the most tender spots are. And I've actually got one right there, right in the middle, down here. If you've got carpal tunnel, I would stay away from way down here, but come up a little bit. And you'll know if it's a good pain or not. So if you're pressing, or say you have if you don't have an arm aid, you have a lacrosse ball, you can do the same thing, it's just not as effective. You take that ball between you and a hard surface, which means you have to usually get into an awkward position and then hope it doesn't roll off the table or wherever it is. Find that spot and then press. So if you have my book, you've seen this in there. So where I've got my model McCuiston doing these kinds of things, you can use that. But I'm also showing you, of course I only had that version, which is this old version. But if you find that spot, you're going to press, bring this way, press, bring that way. So again, through here, you're going to find a spot. I found a spot way down here. Oh, you'll know it's a good spot because it'll be one of those, oh, that hurts, but it feels really good. You might feel some warmth in your fingers. If you feel pain, like a sharp, acute pain, not good, back off. If you feel like oh, that hurts so good, let me hang out here pain, that is good, that's what you want. So we're gonna go back and forth. Here, you're gonna go, oh, right there. And I actually feel that referred pain shooting up into my shoulder. So don't be surprised if you find that right there. Oof, right into my elbows, right into my first 2 fingers. You're going to hang out there and let it relax. And notice again, I'm not gripping. I'm just holding it together. Okay? Yeah. So nothing you have to grip. This just kind of, the rubber band helps. You bring your fingers together and relax. Ah, ooh, I'm going to hang out here. That hurts a lot. So if I went backwards this way, that is flexing those muscles. That's going to hurt a lot more, and that's not what you want. We want these to relax. Ooh, and on a 1 to 10 pain scale, you don't want this to go higher than a 7. So if you have, if it's a 7, you're going to, that's a little much. And in fact, that is a little much, so I'm going to back off. Yeah, right in there. Okay. Now, you can also find things like epicondylitis, which is the inflammation around here, you know, golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, anywhere that we've got these tender points, these trigger points, like right in here tends to be medial epicondylitis, and here would be lateral epicondylitis. So you want to find those 2 spots. You can use this as well. It's not directly carpal tunnel, but we can use it right in there for, who was this that I did the other day? Oh, trombone players. I talked about trombonists yesterday, and this was the spot that I was told that tends to be tighter on them, especially on the left arm. Also maybe on violinists and violists on the left arm. Don't be surprised there. So you want to dig right in there. And again, notice this is holding. So if you have carpal tunnel and you cannot, or you have arthritis and you cannot grip things, you don't have to grip to be able to use this. You just have to hold it steady while you move your arm. One other thing that you can do, and I'll address this further in the workout tomorrow, which I'm doing for trumpet players, is how to use this under bicep. Because, and this question isn't how to necessarily get rid of carpal tunnel syndrome or the symptoms by using the arm aid. It's more if you have carpal tunnel, what the person was asking is, I have carpal tunnel and tendonitis and I cannot grip. And I don't know if this is clinically diagnosed or not, but she said I cannot use my hands to grip. So how do I use this? So good news, you don't have to. So I made this a little bit wider. I'm going to bring my arm all the way through, and you can use either one. I prefer to use this, and actually I'm probably going to use the other attachment for that. But as you can see, I've got it right above my elbow on my bicep, and I'm going to roll back and forth. Ooh, be gentle in this area. Look at me, those tender points. If I find a spot like I've got one right there, now I'm just holding, I'm not gripping, I'm just holding it together. I'm going to extend that elbow. Feels really nice, yeah? Hold and extend, okay? And that's just one of the ways that you can use the arm aid if you have gripping problems or tendonitis or carpal tunnel. And one of the ways that actually you can help get rid of carpal tunnel and tendonitis symptoms if you have really tight forearms. And if you don't have those, but you want to avoid having those, I cannot recommend this enough. Using it before you play, definitely using it after you play as part of your cool down, warm up, cool down, and part of your regular corrective exercise routine will help immensely to make sure your forearms stay nice and limber and inflammation, I don't want to say inflammation free, but we'll keep the inflammation down. We would follow that up with some stretches. So in this case, after we've used it here, I'm not going to do this kind of a stretch. The reason I don't like that is you just cannot get the right angle. And then now I'm actually using my other hand to do that. So what I would use is this chair. And you're going to put your hand directly underneath your shoulder, right? Just like that. And if your hand doesn't go flat, don't force it, okay? Just go to where you can. Keep it directly underneath your shoulder. Touch your fingertips together. And then try to lift your knuckles off the floor. And if it's not possible, good. That means you're doing it right. It shouldn't be possible, okay? So you're going to try to lift and relax. Now, if I go forward like that, I can cheat and lift them up, but that's not what you want. So thanks for joining me, and let me know what thoughts you have, and if you have any other questions on how to use the arm aid, I'm going to be making some more videos. Have a good night, Yayo.